Hi everybody, Army Pea here for eXplorminate.net. Today we're going to be trying out StarDrive 2 with Sector 0 enabled, the new DLC that's just recently dropped. Now, at eXplorminate.net, one of our reviewers, Oliver Kiley, has just reviewed the game, and seems like a good idea to have a let's try kind of experience. I don't know if this is going to be a full let's play. We're going to kind of see how the reception goes from it, but the main goal overall will be to show you, our loyal and lovely fans, all of the different changes that have occurred from StarDrive Vanilla into Sector 0, including new victory conditions, new exploration and the beginning parts of the game, and a few surprises along the way. So we're going to dive right into this and have some fun. What we're going to do right off the bat here is start our campaign. Now, for the sake of clarity and for everybody who's watching it, I'm just going to assume that if you're listening to my voice right now, watching this Let's Try, you're already well aware of the base mechanics of StarDrive Vanilla. You've probably played it a few times. If you're here, you probably enjoyed it. And you're kind of curious, is Sector 0 for me the new DLC? Well, that's what I'm going to focus on. And in doing so, I'm going to kind of bypass a lot of the explanation that occurs in the initial few stages of StarDrive 2 Vanilla. So I will instantly make a custom race. Now, there hasn't been any additions into the customized options that I'm aware of for Sector 0. Now, there has been additions on page 2 in patches that happened before Sector 0 dropped. And these are Titan Quest. You start the game only able to build Titans, which is great, but unfortunately your production at the beginning of the game, like most 4X games, is so ridiculously low that getting one Titan out is a monumental task. But if you happen to get it out and it survives a first onslaught, you're in great shape. Total War, a new attribute that you can take, which means you start the game in Total War mode and you're not able to build any colony ships. I personally have never tried this one, but I can imagine it could be a whole bunch of fun and so frustrating that you pull your hair out. But that's 4X for you, baby. And Newcomer. So basically you start off behind all of the other races. Great for people who love a difficult challenge. But for the sake of moving this along on our Let's Try, I'm going to try some of my attributes that I personally love to use all the time, speed things along, and make the game more fun. I'm going to take Fertile, which is population growth. I'm going to take Meticulous, the attribute which increases the 50% of my income from taxes. I am going to take Clumsy Spies, because generally speaking, the spies in this game, you can deal with that attribute. Even though it's a -2, it gives you some more points to play with. Generally speaking, it's one of those things that I feel that you can counteract rather easily, especially with a great economy due to the meticulous. You know what? If you're going to be good in business, you may have to be a little malicious and meticulous. And I'm also going to try agriculturally inclined, which is more food produced per farmer. Okay, we're going to continue on here. I'm choosing the Karathi because I like Samurai Space Bears. I think they're awesome. So this is our new game setup screen. Pretty similar to what you've probably seen in your vanilla StarDrive 2 screen. The only difference here is in the middle, just under opponents here, we got a score victory, a tech victory, and an expansion victory. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about each one. A score victory basically takes several different several different points through the game and combines them to a score. Some of these could be how many colonies that you have, your total population, how happy your approval rating, how happy your people are, and also certain things that you've explored inside the actual game. That all culminates to a certain score. Now, at the end of, I believe, 1,000 turns, whoever has the highest score that you're competing against wins the game. The tech victory is the actual tech tree has been modified, added to, and supplemented in the new Sector 0 DLC. And the tech victory is at the very end of each one of the chains, you can actually research a final solution. And if you get all of them in each tree, you win the game. And the expansion victory is really interesting because the Sector Zero DLC adds a whole bunch of the exploration in the beginning parts of the game, whereas the vanilla had, had some attributes and some things that you could explore in, certain quests that you could get or independent nations. This adds a whole new array of exploration, and I'll explain once we get into the game, because you're automatically going to see that they've implemented a hex-based tile system versus the more organic nature of the original StarDrive. And in doing so, each hex has a possibility of something for you to explore, and that counts towards your expansion victory. So I don't want to spoil anything, because if I tell you all about it, it'll kind of take some of the wow factor out of playing it for the very first time. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take hostile threats to 0. Now, again, I also don't want to spoil certain things by playing this game and showing you some of the additional things that Sector Zero has done. But with the base game, there was, let's say, a villain that you had the option to fight at one point. Now, that has been expanded on. I don't want to show it to you and spoil it to you in this Let's Try. Additionally, some of the other threats in the galaxy have been expanded on and are slightly different than the vanilla game, so I don't want to necessarily kind of spoil anything, but I'd like to show it to you. Now, by turning hostile threats off and disabling certain attacks, it will make the beginning parts of this game a lot easier had you decided to play it with those on just the normal level. But my hope here is to show you more of the exploration side, which has been so drastically changed from the vanilla game. Focus on ground combat, the hex-based system, and some of the little nuances that have changed throughout the way. What I'm also hoping to do, again, is not spoil anything as we start to get to mid and late game that actually would take away from the enjoyment of playing Sector Zero for yourself. So without further ado, we're going to begin this game. Alright, here we go. Now, instantly as I pull out, you can see that instead of having that organic type map, we have a hex-based system. Now, each one of these hexes can be clicked on and explored. Now, if you'll notice here in the lower left-hand side, this says Sector 3951. It's a deep space sector explored. There we have sensor coverage provided by our ships, and it's owned by the Karathi. Now, the great part about this is, if we take our exploration frigate and we right-click on it, you'll notice a sensor array, which provides us with information in the next sector. If you didn't have that equipped to your ship, you'd actually have to travel there. Now, the reason that's important is I'm just going to click on that and I'm going to start exploring these new hexes, because in doing so, some rare treasures might come out. And some of these rare treasures might in fact be here at this question mark. See, it's unexplored anomaly. Now, these existed in the original StarDrive, but they have been expanded on much more in the Sector Zero. It almost behooves you to build several exploration ships with lots of fuel to get a chance to explore the galaxy before any of your AI chummies do before, because there's a lot of them that you can exploit by building constructor ships on, or they give you an empire-wide bonus, which is just great. So we're going to take a look at what we're against here. Looks like we've got a independent nation, and I can just tell beside the text. The text color normally gives it away a little bit, but yeah, it looks like we've got a decent manufacturing. Well, that's not bad either. So we've got a couple options for our first colony ship. I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to build... Oh, that's not bad either. Massive caves. +2 population. Wow, we really do have some pretty good options for a manufacturing style area. So I think just for the sake of it, we're probably going to click on here. We're going to take Rathi 1 as our first colony ship. It's probably not the best one. You can see production and food, but the population is good, and it's not going to cost us a whole lot. But unfortunately, it doesn't produce its own food, so we have to build the freighter fleet that we always did in the vanilla game. We'll quickly get that on the go, and what we're going to do right away is as soon as we can get food provided to both planets, we're going to build another exploration ship. We're going to really explore and see what Sector Zero's exploration has to offer. I'm going to pick soil enrichment because I want to be able to provide food very quickly. And let's see what we're up against here and our very first. Okay. Our fleet in Sector 4052 has discovered a deep space probe created by a race of beings who, at the point of this probe was launched, were clearly in its infancy of the space program. So obviously it's the Voyager. That's awesome. The probe remains in remarkably good shape despite being somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 years old, judging from the pitting of micrometeorite impacts. The probe itself is rather unremarkable, and at one point in our past we launched a similar probe. It contained charts indicated of the home system of the probe, music, art, and other data that showcases the biology of the probe's creators. The race is unfamiliar to us, and we've added a waypoint on the galaxy map should we visit the home planet of this race. Wow, that's really cool. So hopefully, I'm trying to see where this waypoint would be. Yeah, we'll pick it up later. Oh, maybe this is it. Does not look like the sun. So at one point during the game, we may actually get right into the Sol sector. So that was great, but we still have lots of fuel because we haven't left our sector. So let's see what this has to offer us. Okay. Our freighter fleet is, I'm going to build it really quick here for 3 turns so that our colony ship in our new colony won't starve. Now this is an example of the hex-base system in use. Now you notice that as we entered this hex base, because it's got a sensor, it scans each adjacent hexagon and whatever might be in it. Nothing's in this one, but we've noticed that there's something here that's indicated by the anomaly. We've also scanned the entire, like our deep space scans have been indicated different planets. And this one here. So we have sensor coverage, and it's now been explored. Okay, our freighter's built. Colony ship. Let's go. Alright, 2 for 2. Not too bad. Oh, we found... Oh, okay, so this happened on the... This must have happened on the main map. What this is we found a drifting vessel, which is awesome because we're going to have a second colony ship right off the bat. So, guys, great start. As soon as you can get 2 colony ships without having to build the first one, money in the bank. Money, and like not the WWE type of money in the bank where you're like, yay, but no one cares. This is money. This is a really good start. I'm excited about this now. We're going to start up our... what we're going to do, we're going to start up on our starbase just for the time being. We don't actually have to complete it. I just like having to build a little bit in there. Now in this case, I think we're going to build another exploration ship. Let's see if we can edit our roster. No, apparently you can't. Oh, that might be a little bit of a bug there. I have been messing around quite a bit with the roster lately, so I'll have to fix that. For the time being, we will build a colony ship just for fun then. Okay, colony ship, we're on the build. We're gonna get a few guys down here researching our soul enrichment. Whoa, man, this is great. So what do we got here? A colony ship. Now we can choose one of these real money makers. Huge toxic for 2 and 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 5. So what I'm going to right now is I'm quickly just looking at the production per worker that each one of these have. Wow, that's really nice. Total of 18 production. If I was able to get that to the max population, where this is 12. It's got Diamond Rain. So many choices, my friends. So many choices. But having not being a min-maxer, I'm going to choose these ultra rich. we'll see what we can to make that a more habitable place later in the future. Okay, now we're going to study this another. Okay, so this is great. An example of Sector Zero's hex-based discovery system. While exploring this sector, your fleet has discovered a cache of ancient yet highly advanced heavy hand grenades. Your troops now gain +2 to their damage rolls. Now, just for discovering this artifact, right? All of my troops now from here on in will get a +2 to their damage rolls. So you can see how if I were to discover 2 or 3, even 3 of these, having a total of +6 to my damage rolls, or any other kind of cool bonuses that I could find along the way, exploring right off the bat can really provide you with a really wide empire-wide bonus that's definitely worth it. And you know for a fact that if you're not exploring, your AI counterparts definitely are. So I would tell everybody and encourage everybody while playing this DLC to do just that. So you'll see here we haven't discovered too much, and I'll just keep going. Okay, a man 1. Yeah, I'm taking it. And we're gonna start getting you building your starbase just like I wanted. How's our food doing? Pretty good. I'm feeling happy about the situation. Alright, we're going to keep going. That's great for research. And, oh, look at that. A medium tundra that's providing food. Taking it. Yeah, we're going to be looking at that. Now, this also takes us to another thing that's been included in Sector 0, and that is nebula. Now, there are several different kinds of nebula, and what you'll notice is as I scroll over, a window will pop up, tell us that blue nebula will limit our fleet to just 10 AU per turn, so it'll really slow you down. So it's kind of like a little bit of a choke point, because I've noticed, having played this a bit, that the AI will choose not to go through that if need be. They'll go around it. So it kind of creates this space barrier that we never really had in previously. We can't build anything deep space while in there, and for some reason, if 2 fleets were to engage in the blue nebulize? I'll never get that right. Anyway, the shielding will actually fail. Like all the shields will collapse. It's not worth nothing. So if you had a fleet and you pulled them in there, and you had high armor and they had high shields, it'd be much to your advantage. We're going to pull out a little bit here, and you're also going to take a look at some red nebulae. Now, red nebulae do the exact same thing in terms of speed reduction, but energy weapons have a 50% less effective range. So it's an interesting dynamic. And the final one that we have is an ion storm. Now, you simply just you want to avoid these at all costs, and I have learned this the hard way. Now, if you look here, we've got a star system. I haven't been able to explore it, but if you look at the ion storms that surround this system, it makes for a perfect choke point. Be easily defendable, because if you don't have shields, the ion storms will eat through your hull like ants at a really good picnic. So you can imagine that this would be a very easily defendable location until, heaven forbid, your AI develops shields. So randomly they're out through the location, and it creates an interesting little dynamic. And you'll even notice as I start to path through here, I'm just using my exploration chip and just checking the pathing, right? A lot of times the pathing will try to avoid these nebula, especially the ones that the ion storm tries to connect with, right? So it's kind of even letting you know, oh, there's trouble up ahead, don't go through me. Okay, everybody, so now that my exploration ship's completely out of fuel, and I've got a couple locations that I've already colonized, and you get the idea of the hex-based system, some of the discovery that's going to happen as we progress in this Let's Try, and some of the additional changes that Sector 0 has provided. I'm going to log off right now, and we're going to upload this right away, and I want to see some of the comments up ahead. One of the things I really would like to see, if you're watching this video, you're enjoying it, comment if you have some ideas about how do you want to progress. We haven't really contacted any alien AIs for the time being, so I know it's a little bit brushed, but one thing I really like is if you have an idea for a ship name. Now, I'll quickly just show you all the different frigates that we have right now. So if I go to the shipyard, we've got our corvette, our frigate, and our cruiser. Now, I typically will build these, probably not recording just for the sake of speed and efficiency, but if you want to name any of these bad boys, so the corvette, the frigate, or the cruiser, and you've got some really cool names for different ships, I'll definitely add them, and you can be a part of this Let's Try, assuming that they are age appropriate. I'm just putting that out there now because that's where we're going to roll for this Let's Try. Okay, everybody, so this has been Army P. It's been a pleasure. Let me know, comment, subscribe. See you next time on StarDrive 2 Sector 0 DLC Let's Try.